colleagues on the dais, distinguished gathering for this panel discussion. A warm welcome to all of you. I think all of you must be wondering that advancing rural infrastructure, what is that it has to do with stainless steel's expo today? This is what in the mind it comes. In fact, when we were brainstorming about the panel discussion in the steering committee of this GSSE 2025, we were very passionate, all of us, to have one session because India is now a growing economy. As all of you know, now we are in the 4th place. We are going to sooner go to the 3rd economy in the world. Not only that, India is now today the most populous country in the world, and 70% of our population is today at rural villages. Indeed, out of 140 crores, it says, estimation says around 89 to 90 crore people are going to be in the rural sector. And out of this 89 to 90 crore, you will be surprised to know that 66% of the people are below 35 years of age. That is around 60 crore people out of 140 are below 35 living in rural area. And that is where Government of India is giving several schemes. You will not believe that since 2014, you will find that a large number of schemes, around 20-25 schemes have come. I think most of you know the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Gramin, BharatNet, Swachh Bharat Mission, Jal Jeevan Mission, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kausalya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. There are several schemes. It is because in this, these people who are, about 90 crore people, they are living in 6.65 lakh villages in our country, 6.65 lakh villages. And approximately it is estimated 3 crore households are there which are electrified today by this government. So electrification is done. Under the BharatNet project, you will be surprised to know that I will tell you, under the BharatNet scheme, they have given the net service, out of the India's 954 million internet subscribers, 400 million are in rural areas. So that means electricity is there, net is there. And government is also trying to put in lot of investment in developing the rural areas. Now, if you look at, we are all in urban, we are living in urban. Now today we all have concrete jungle. We are living in concrete jungle. Everywhere you can see concrete. The roads are concrete, buildings. Everywhere you can see the malls coming are concrete. Everywhere infrastructure is going up. Similarly, we have also in between the rural and urban something called rurban. It is neither rural nor urban. It is called rurban. That is what is now developing more, and the focus is on the Government of India on this, and also further they are trying to develop the rural areas. You will be surprised to know the Union Budget 25-26 is given its estimate and the total amount that has been allocated in the budget estimate 25-26 for the rural development is 1,88,754 crore, almost 2 lakh crores. Such a huge investment is going on. Now today when we all talk about Viksit Bharat 2047, we all talk about application of stainless steel mainly in the urban sector. All of us talk about how stainless steel can be, the volume can be increased, how it can be applied more in urban sector. We are not thinking more about the rural sector, where I tell that there are 6.65 lakh villages, 3 crore households, and several development that is happening. Government is putting so much investment, whether it is water supply, whether it is the broadband connectivity, including the increase in post offices. Can you believe that there is a big India Post as a catalyst for rural economy? Central government has put a scheme, and I can keep adding the several schemes that has been put up by the government of India. Not only that, in the last 10 years, if you see the poverty index, which says that 13.5 crore people came above the, the minimum poverty limit, means the people are becoming richer in the rural areas also. And more people are getting internet, more people are getting, the rural wage programs, and the women development has significantly improved. When all this is happening, when the government is trying to put in more housing scheme, and then, you will not believe that under the housing scheme, Housing for All, 2.7 crore houses have been already sanctioned, and out of it 2.1 crore have been completed by 2023. And then the total target for 23 out of 52.8 lakh, 32.4 lakh houses have been completed. So the houses are getting built up. And if you look at rural infrastructure, 1,73,775 number of roads, which are measuring 7,25,000 kilometers, and also 7,800 long span bridges. The way the rural development that is happening, the government is putting so much of investment in the rural sector. We are never thinking that whether stainless steel can have a place in rural infrastructure. This is what the question that we passionately discussed in our steering committee meeting. Looks like that what is the big way that stainless steel can enter into the rural sector? If you look at any household, let me say there is 3 crore household. If every household is going to have the kitchenware in stainless steel, because in rural villages, I know there are many people, they don't call it as stainless steel, they call it as ever silver, because it is always shining. You don't have to clean that way you are cleaning the aluminum utensils or others. So they call it as ever silver. Today, if every household, let me say 3 crore households, okay, which are called the villages, I am telling about 3 crore. Every household, there is a kitchenette, there is a utensil, there is, water filter, there is, going to be a water tank, or, you think about whatever that a household in urban, city that we have. If these 3 crore households are going to have, you can see the imagination of the product, stainless steel product that can enter into. Because stainless steel is an ecosystem material, it's a green metal, and it is life cycle cost, if you analyze, it is 100% recyclable. So there is nothing like that people will, lose it or get damaged and they have to replace. Even if it is damaged, if it becomes a scrap, it is reusable. There is nothing like that it can be thrown, and it doesn't give any side effect. It can be used. The food grade material is available, pharma grade materials are available, surgical grade materials are available. So stainless steel can be made a panacea metal that can be made available everywhere. So why not the stainless steel growth focus on the rural sector? That was my question, and I feel that there are a lot of thought process should be evolved. Now we focus everything 2047 Viksit Bharat, we will put stainless steel everywhere in the urban. So beyond 2047, what we will do? India is having 70% rural sector. So you have to, when you are saturated in urban, you have to move on to the rural sector. So let us think about it. If there are 7 lakh villages, every village, let me say, there is going to be 2 water tank, means it is 14 lakh water tank. So you can multiply like that, 3 crore household. Every crore they have some 10, items, utensils made of the stainless steel. So 3 crore into 10, 30 crore. So the volume will increase in smaller numbers. And another thing, it will also give a lot of opportunity not only for the primary sector, the secondary and the MSME sector will have a lot of opportunity to use and grow in the stainless steel sector. This is what is the theme, the thought on which we felt that there should be advancing rural infrastructure. What is the role of stainless steel? And we have chosen wonderful speakers. We have with us C.P. Agarwal, who has got vast experience in primary sector, is a stainless steel production person. He has a lot of idea about what to say in the, the rural sector, the stainless steel can be used. We have with us Mr. Praveen Agarwal from CPWD. He is an Indian Engineering Service professional with vast experience, and he has been serving in the CPWD in several states on the urban infrastructure. we want to know from him also how it can enter into stainless steel, enter into the rural sector. We have Mr. Praveen, who is having his own company. He is very passionate about environment and the sustainable development. I am sure that he will also get into a lot of thought processes. We have Mr. Sanjay Sharma. He has served in the Indian private sector, most of the time in the L&T for more than 40 years. I am sure that he will also have a lot of idea, and he want to focus on the environment related issues, that what it can do when you apply stainless steel for rural sector. Incidentally, today is World Environment Day. It's a right opportunity to listen from him about the application of stainless steel in the rural sector and its environmental impact, that it can help, instead of using material that will create a lot of, problem. And, he want to focus on the environmental issues. And when Praveen speaks about circularity and Mr. Agarwal speaks about environment, I think that is the best thing that we can gift today on World Environment Day, that how stainless steel will serve the advancing the infrastructure through stainless steel today. I'm very happy that we have the experienced professionals who have long standing in their field, who are going to talk about advancing the infrastructure, and I'm welcoming all of them. And I would like to request you, each one of you, to focus on your topic for about 10 minutes each, and then we will go for some questions from the audience, and also that we will have time for discussion at the end. Thank you so much. Maybe I think that I can begin with Mr. C.P. Agarwal.
Very good morning. Thank you, Dr. Kamachi. You are always a guiding mentor for me for corrosion. And you always taught me how you save millions of dollars in nuclear infrastructure from your IG car days by using the stainless steel in most of the infrastructure. I had long chat with my colleague, Mr. Praveen Agrawal, who is having the long-lasting experience into CPWD, and he worked basically into the Goa and Mumbai, where basically I discussed, and we discussed basically how we can use more and more stainless steel into the rural and urban infrastructure. I had discussion with my colleague from L&T, as well as basically many infrastructure companies. They are facing a lot of challenges in corrosion. So stainless steel, the major advantage is corrosion resistance. The first thing came into the mind, the cost. The people are thinking, 50 रुपए का सरिया मिलता है, stainless steel is 100 rupees, is double time. But nobody is thinking what kind of the strength we are getting into the stainless steel, what kind of the corrosion we are getting, what kind of sustainable solution we are getting. Our previous governments also spent so much money into our rural infrastructure, still basically our rural infrastructure is not up to the mark the way we want. Why? Because the thing is that infrastructure is not supporting to the years. At the time basically that supported, but not for future. So Nitin Gadkari ji basically first time recognized the power of the stainless steel, and he recommended in the coastal area up to 30 kilometer stainless steel rebar has to use in all NHI projects, and followed by the railway. Railway also took the same courage and said we also use a stainless steel rebar in their infrastructure project where the corrosion is the most potential element for any kind of future deterioration. But my question to my colleagues is, why we are thinking only on coastal area? Why we are not thinking for our rural area? We are having a lot of canals, we have a lot of water systems, we have roads, we have to put up basically there also the stainless steel quite a lot, and we can make the sustainable solution. Second is, we are using a lot of mild steel fasteners, we are using a lot of high tensile fasteners. Why not we have to use the stainless steel fasteners to tie up basically anything which is having the high strength as well as long sustainability in terms of corrosion. So my point is, focus on corrosion, see the sustainable solution, use basically the stainless steel or above where basically we can get the sustainable solution. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kamachi, sir. Today, I will limit my talk to the today's topic of discussion, rural infrastructure. So, as we all understand that during past many decades, we have already seen a lot of development in urban structure, urban infrastructure. So, in the future, definitely the time is for development of rural infrastructure. Rural, where more than 70% of our population reside in rural infrastructure. So, at the time when we do rural development, we also have to learn from past. In past, we did urban infrastructure development, and we have not focused much on the sustainable development. So right now, it's our responsibility to do with the rural development and also the sustainable development. During previous years, we saw that so much of deforestation has happened, so much of embodied carbon footprints we have created on this globe. If we talk globally, around 40 billion ton of carbon is produced globally, and the contribution of India is around 7 to 8%. Is third in the world after China and USA. So it's our imperative responsibility that we do due respect to the sustainable development. So in this rural sector, when we go for different type of construction, building infrastructure, the buildings and the road network and all that. So I find that use of stainless steel could be one of the good option to pay our lead towards that. Because this stainless steel, it has a recyclable property, it's a very good property. And the main USP of it, every one of you knows that it's a corrosion resistant, durability, free maintenance, no maintenance, hygienic properties, all that basic property everybody is aware. And the bottleneck in everyone's mind is the cost. At the first time, as our colleague Mr. Agarwal said, that the cost, when we talk of cost, we used to talk of initial cost. So we have to change our mindset. Rather from focusing on the initial cost, we should think on the overall cost, the life cycle cost, the product service life, and thereafter disposal is also very important. The cost, three components: the initial cost, capital cost, and thereafter construction cost, and then the maintenance and final disposal. All put together, and finally what the product, what the service we get finally. So overall cost impact on our system, on our infrastructure, that we have to focus. So since I am from the government, I can share that now even my system, government is changing our mindset. So instead of focusing on initial sort of tendering, suppose we take up some infrastructure work, initially we do calculate how much component of different commodities will be utilized, will be used in the work, and thereafter we offer the bid for any bidders to come forward. So now we have changed the system. We have gone on the EPC mode and also the PPP mode. So where we invite different developers to come. They don't have to focus only on the initial construction purpose, infrastructure development purpose. They also have to focus on the service life purpose and the additional costs involved during service life. So that way they take effect of everything, all components into account. Then only we reach to the right calculation of cost. So I think the cost is no more impediment for use of this stainless steel. And one more thing I just want to highlight, that in total, this sustainable development, around 30 to 40% impact is because of this infrastructure and the building and the road and the electrification and all that. So out of that, around 10% weightage is from steel. So there again, 10% of 10, maybe 10 to 15% of 10, that is through this stainless steel. So as on date, today we are producing around 7 to 8 million ton of steel, and this stainless steel, and we are focusing to increase it more. And one more thing I would like to happen in near future, that we should come out with some national policy of implementation of stainless steel. As I could know through some articles that during past 2-3 years, our Association of Stainless Steel is trying to push forward for a national policy. So that will also give a good impact for making use of more and more. Because today we have to focus more on the maintenance-free solutions. So this is the very good option that can give maintenance-free solution. It's used not only in construction, also in agriculture sector, the transport sector, and this food processing sector, the dairy milk sector, and electrification, and this internet cabling, wiring. Its use is immense. We just have to tap it. So that type of any policy is there, it will give us support. So that way, my all good wishes for the time when we are going to see that increasing past use of stainless steel and making life of every one of us comfortable, apart from giving due thought to the sustainable development. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me over for this wonderful session. And as Dr. Murli and Mr. Agarwal, both Mr. P.K. Agarwal as well as Mr. Praveen Agarwal have talked before me, I think the discussion on rural economy and stainless steel usage, I think that becomes very, very pertinent in today's case. As Mr. Dr. Murli talked about, that roughly about 65 to 70% of India resides in rural areas. And some of the consultants talked about that 70% of India is yet to be built. And I was reading some stats which says that roughly about $7 trillion worth of investments is likely to come into infrastructure in India. And, we have been talking about, or we have been mired with what is called as the rampant urbanization. And if we really aspire to be a developed economy and be the third largest economy, unless and until this economic development reaches the heartland, the rural areas, that aspiration does not really, you can't really fructify it. And if we really have to reach that, how do we get this, as a kind of a pull factor into the rural areas? Because I think policy changes, a lot of push can happen, but that push can never be sustainable unless it is a pull factor which gets to the sustainable development of rural economy. We have, a huge population, roughly about, I think, roughly about 94 odd crores from the 1.4 crore population that you have residing out of rural areas, which keep on coming to the urban areas to make their living. So unless until we get these rural economy or agro economy revitalized, we cannot have that. And this cannot happen unless until the right infrastructure reaches your villages. Now, I belong to, I've joined a German company, Sumer Rohrtechnik, which is in the southern part of Germany, in Bavaria, on the German side of the Alps. It's based in a very small village. And when you look at any of these European countries, especially when these are termed as a developed world, most of the units are spread across. Most of them are spread into rural areas. And the reason why that has happened is because the infrastructure to reach even the farthest part or the smallest village is not hindered with, the pothole roads or no roads at all, which will take you hours to complete, just a few kilometers. You could travel 300 kilometers to the most far-flung village in absolutely no time. I think that is what will take the economic development to absolutely last mile within the rural belt of India. And as I said, the pull factor becomes extremely important. And that is where I think we talked about, in terms of circularity. But most importantly, since this dilemma for India in its development stays that we need to be sustainable. And fortunately, we don't have the legacy. I think with the 70% of India yet to be built, we can start from absolutely scratch. I think if we start building on the sustainable model right from now, for the rest of 70% of India to be built, probably, the sustainable portion on this Environment Day issue, we can talk about, which will become a reality. And the three components that will come into picture would be your sustainability, your resource efficiency, and recyclability. And I think all these parameters culminate with a single common factor, which is stainless steel, which is an ideal, what I would call it as a motive force for development. How does it happen? Let's talk about circularity first. So when we talk about circularity, I mean, you look at India is predominantly an agro-based economy. And how do we utilize the agricultural residue effectively to get that pull factor into the economic development of the country? So as a Prime Minister has said, in the recent past, that we need to make our annadatas into urja datas. The farmers, from being just into farmer community, how can they be integrated into our energy requirements or sustainability of the nation? How do we use this agro residue, which is in excess of about 250 million tons per year, to be utilized effectively in the industrial belt? How do we utilize to replace your fossil fuels? And that is where probably the infrastructure development with agro residue to be used in biogas plants comes into picture, which are predominantly huge users of stainless steel. Now, if you look at it, each digester requires roughly about 3.6 to 4 tons of stainless steel alone, apart from the other steel. And Germany alone has got roughly about 10,000 digesters. And India already has put their plan of roughly about 15 MMTPA of gas to replace by green gas, which will constitute to roughly about, on an average, 10,000 digesters. Now, if you're talking about 3.6 tons to 4 tons per digester, we are talking about close to about 4,000 tons of stainless steel only in digesters alone. And that is just a starting point. With this kind of a system, you are getting roughly about 200 entrepreneurs at rural level at each plant. With 10,000 villages, coming up with these kind of entrepreneurs where you have 200 people employed or employment generation which is possible. You can imagine what kind of a rural, the economy development will have. And that will obviously have snowballing effect. And if you have to have that kind of a usage of the agro residue for replacement of fossil fuel, we use the residue within the area. We use the LPG is replaced, the CNG is replaced, the petrol is replaced in that area from the waste that we have, and each area becomes completely independent in its in a kind of a mini economy by itself, which will build in a lot of money in the local areas coming in at various points. And this will obviously lead to a push factor or pull factor by the rural people to ask for the right infrastructure, the right bridges, the right roads to reach them. Because if these kind of 200 employees per village are additional coming into picture, which are generating a lot of income as well as employment, obviously you have other smaller economies, the ancillary units, the other bits trade that will pick up, which will demand the kind of infrastructure, which will probably reverse this trend of rampant urbanization. So maybe 10, 15 years down the line, instead of looking into our urban ghettos, probably we'll be able to look into, villages that probably, I mean, I am probably, pretty old now, but maybe the next generation will like to, prefer not to work in Bombay or Delhi or Pune, and probably would like to go and, work in a place which has got pristine air, fresh water, wonderful, they are not asthmatic by taking the AQIs of 400 plus in most of the cities with the kind of pollution that we day in, day out breathe in, with probably a much healthier life, and I think that is where stainless steel comes into a very, very important portion, because with this revitalizing of economy, the usage of stainless steel into rural belt probably will increase the consumption, the usage, and this becomes what I would call it as a levers to reach that particular economy, which obviously will take it to a much more sustainable way of our growth, which probably next decade or two, when we look back, we say that yes, we have tread the right path, for the future development of India, and we are really looking at probably a step closer to the carbon neutral India that we aspire to be. Yeah, with that, I think I'll like my fellow panelists to add some more thoughts to it, and then maybe we can take some question answers.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Dr. Mudalia talked about today being World Environment Day. And you guys know what the theme is. The theme is beat plastic pollution. So very reluctantly, I had water from this one single-use plastic bottle. But the theme this time is beat plastic pollution. Going back a bit, steel and iron are actually very primitive. I mean, they've been, it's ancient material. Aluminum is only 200 years old. Stainless steel is only 110 years old. When it was first developed in Sheffield in UK and together with that Haynes in USA. So it's only about 110 years old. I remember when I had my first fabrication experience 40 years back in stainless steel, that was 2 millimeter thick stainless steel, the jobs we were doing for National Dairy Development Board. That was milk processing equipment. And that's where India first started using stainless steel as its corrosion and ability to clean and all that. And from there, it went into nuclear, space, and all around the country. Today, the Earth is burdened with about 40 million tons of steel. 40 million tons of steel is there amongst all around the world in its steel form, which has obviously come out of the iron ore and developed into it. And it means about 100 times our weight. If you put all the humans together, 100 times that weight is what is the weight of steel the Earth is having to carry. And obviously that steel comes with its own carbon footprint. The carbon footprint of 1 ton of steel internationally is 1.8 tons of carbon dioxide for every ton of steel that we produce. In India, it's slightly bad because it's slightly worse because we use coke, which is not of a good quality. So it's about 2.3 tons. So 1 ton of steel we produce generates 2.3 tons of carbon dioxide. Now, I just want to ask the audience one question. How much does a mature tree, one tree, we talk of tree plantation and all that, how much does a mature tree absorb, how many kgs of carbon dioxide does a mature tree absorb in a year? Any guess? Ashutosh, any guess? How much? Okay, it's very surprising. It was very surprising for me. A mature tree works for the entire year. It absorbs only 22 kilograms of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. If I fly from Bombay to Delhi and back, my carbon footprint will be 200 kgs, which means about 10 trees will work around the year to capture it back, 10 trees. But 1 ton of steel, you can calculate now, 1 ton of steel that you produce will need 1,000 trees to work towards the entire year to get back the carbon dioxide, which eventually is going to harm the atmosphere and the global warming and all that. So that's the order of magnitude of the challenge we are having. And they say that steel contributes to something like 15% of the carbon footprint. And concrete, sir, concrete is about 8%. So concrete is also not far behind because limestone and all that, we do that. So coming back to stainless steel, our per capita consumption is about 2.5 kgs per person per year. It's minuscule. Whereas steel on the other side is about 75. The world global average is 7 kgs per man per year. and India is at 2.5. And as Dr. Mudali said, the scope of the 90 crore population in the rural areas to use stainless steel for sustainable development and sustainable use is huge. So that's where this thing goes. And I just give you, as we would drive 1 kilometer from this exhibition hall, is one bridge, a flyover called Mrunal Thai flyover, which has used stainless steel, duplex stainless steel for its superstructure. One of the first big bridges that has been made. Of course, the first bridge, walk bridge, was in Vizag. That was the first one made in stainless steel. And if you look at stainless steel, it reduces, if you say you make a bridge purely of stainless steel, yes, the cost will be about 40% higher. But if you take off the lifestyle cost, it won't rust. Today, there's an estimate that US spends $1 trillion on rust prevention, on corrosion prevention. And India, for example, Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower is a tower whose weight is 7,000 tons. They spend 1,000 tons of paint so far, all through its life, to maintain the tower. Otherwise, it'll get rusted. So that's the order of maintenance that goes into carbon steel and alloy steels. Stainless steel has that solution. Now, if you look at carbon steel get corroded, stainless steel won't get corroded. Like he said that you can remelt it. The nickel recovery out of chromium may get oxidized to some extent, but nickel recovery is 100%. Nickel, which is expensive part of it, gets remelted and gets rebuilt into the whole thing there. So that's one of the advantages of using stainless steel, even though it's 40% higher. If you replace concrete, you reduce the weight by about 30–40%. If you have stainless steel, you have this chromium oxide film, which is self-healing. And of course, there are some maintenance issues involved in trying to avoid carbon steel exposure onto stainless steel. But rural areas offer, you've heard of so many cases where the bridge, before it's built, the concrete of the column has fallen down. Poor quality of, which can't be monitored in the rural areas. Kidhar Bihar ke gaon mein kahin pe rural area mein jaake you type of monitoring of curing of concrete that happens. It's a very difficult task. But stainless steel or steel, for that matter, allows you to do factory-made stuff and go and erect it there. So that's a big advantage coming in. So if you look at the carbon footprint, you look at the future of this earth, stainless steel is probably a solution across every place. So and tomorrow when government or the world introduces carbon tax, you'll find that stainless steel suddenly will become cheaper than carbon steel because of this prime reason. That's from my side.
So, Mr. Agarwal, would you like to add additional points, second thought?
Sir, I found the thing is the education about the stainless steel is increasing every day, and people are aware now. The thing is what kind of cost we are paying if we are not using the sustainable solution for our infrastructure and basically upcoming infrastructure. So adding the point of Agarwal sir, basically Ministry of Steel already recommended the life cycle cost calculations to Ministry of Finance and other ministry to consider the stainless steel whenever you are considering any kind of infrastructure. But you are rightly said, the policy level is still basically that is pending. So we have to push through ISDA. So what basically that should come basically in the policy level. Sir, I found the digester is a very big application, and if we are able to bring basically that kind of application in India, the people are striving from very long time to get the green gas, and that will solve basically not only the problem of energy, that will solve basically many problems of the rural area and the allied infrastructure. And the uses of the very special kind of the stainless steel is needed for digester, because digester is having the sulfur, and the corrosion due to sulfur is the most prominent. And if we are bring basically those kind of solutions, then we can parallelly use to our sewerages, our drainage system, our STP, ETP plants. So many applications will emerge with that. So many thanks to bring basically your global knowledge to India and try to basically put up basically in India. And putting, sir, your point about the sustainability, I can tell you, sir, basically right now all the steel companies and the stainless steel companies are working to make the green steel. What is the green steel, sir? Actually, we understood completely we are consuming highest number of energy units to produce the steel or stainless steel. So what we are doing, sir, basically we are moving toward the renewables uses more and more. And we are basically trying to use the alternative materials to make the materials. Like scrap is the integral part. We have to make the recyclable. But the scrap also, we are trying to bring basically the gas-based scraps to use basically, so the carbon footprint is very less. Every company is trying, and every company by 26, 27, you can see the 40 to 50% of their energy requirement will comply through renewables, either from wind, either for solar or hybrid. But the steel companies are also feeling responsibility for the environment, and we are bringing basically those kind of things very well. Sir, regarding the rural infrastructure and supporting the rural infrastructure, this is our responsibility through associations and this kind of workshops and conference to penetrate more and more education. Until basically people are not able to understand, the thing is what is the cost benefit in the long term from them by using the stainless steel, they will not pursue because still, sir, I again repeat, we have the mindset of the initial cost rather than the sustainable cost. So that is from my side, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Since you talked about that, I'll just give you an example of your kitchen or your wife managed kitchen. You buy a stainless steel utensil. India, there are two types of stainless steel. One is 18-8, and the other is where nickel is replaced by manganese. So that is a different grade of stainless steel. That's much cheaper. You go to the market, he'll say, no, this is kg ke hisab se aapko dega. Dusra Vinod branded one he'll not give you. If you buy that, in the first heat it will get discolorized. Because it's cheaper by about 20%, you find yes, it's good, but that's not 18-8. If you see some of the cutleries, sir, they take pleasure in writing 18-8 behind to say that yes, it's 18-8 stainless steel. So that's one of the thing awareness we have to create in Indians. That one time, like आपने बोला कि सस्ता रोए बार बार, महंगा रोए एक बार.
Right, sir.
So you get to the right quality, and that will give you the right service years after years, you know.
In fact, sir, you also mentioned the very good example of the uses of the duplex stainless steel into the bridges. So what is a duplex? A duplex is a combination of the two kinds of the stainless steel, which is having the high nickel and low nickel, and giving basically very good strength, very good corrosion properties, no stress corrosion cracking. So those kind of characteristics are now coming to country, sir. And the good part is, my friend like Praveen ji basically is using in their infrastructures. So what we can see the two bridges right now in Mumbai, one bridge in Vizag, and lot of new bridges are coming with the stainless steel. In Delhi, basically we can see a lot of bridges are using now the stainless steel as a most prominent material because they don't want, the thing is the bridge has to fall down after 10 years or 12 years. So the casualty should not happen. Many examples are there, sir, where NHAI is using now the stainless steel rebars in their projects, and they are saying these bridges are not for 50 years, these bridges are for 150 years. So the country is moving, country is thinking something different now.
Just want to add one point. The first bridge on stainless steel was built in South Africa. It was called Durban Moorland Millennium Bridge. It was in 1999. So it's been 25 years since the bridges have been built in stainless steel. A lot of bridges in Europe and Scandinavia are in stainless steel there.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Kamal, you brought a very valid point in terms of, there are two aspects. One is, of course, what Sharma ji brought in and what you brought in. So I've missed out one portion of the circularity, which you pointed out, because I was mainly referring to the pearly burning issue of, agro-residue, the AQI coming down, and maybe replacement of 3 lakh crores worth of subsidy on the organic fertilizer, and of course, we typically import all our gas. So green gas also has this circularity into steel lot, what we talked about the green steel making. You know, the gas-based process of steel making can easily be replaced with, you know, from coal or fossil fuel-based gas to green gas, which is biogas. Secondly, this can also through SMR route get into green hydrogen, where hydrogen becomes an important energy bit into the steel making, where it will make the entire steel making process carbon neutral or as close to carbon neutrality as possible, because typically biogas is not just carbon neutral, but I think it's been proven that is almost carbon negative. You know, from the fact of the life that it's a agro residue which is being prevented from emanating methane into the atmosphere, plus it is replacing all your fossil fuels, you know, on the carbon lot. So to that extent, it is carbon negative. And then, you know, when you use that into steel making, so you make biogas using steel, you use the product into making steel again. So this is yet another angle of circularity which, you know, I missed out in my initial portion, which thanks to you that you brought it out. So yeah, that's a.
No, sir, many thanks. Actually, we are also looking for the alternative energy sources, and the hydrogen is a big game changer for any steel industry. So we are waiting for basically the modern technology, which basically comes. The few steel plant in India tried basically the very small capacity of the electrolyzer, but the things comes, technology is evolving, and we are going for more and more clean and green steel for sure.
As you rightly said that use of steel is getting increased, stainless steel. NHI is using stainless steel in their road infrastructure and bridge infrastructure. That's correct. So nowadays, I think it's a time that we should remove boundaries in our thinking. Whatever worldwide best possible practices, technological advances, whatever best options the entire globe is using, the India is the platform for giving such opportunities to our consumers, our infrastructure development. I just want to share one thing, since my government of India and my department is now mostly working in this building infrastructures, they have come out with very innovative solution of technology neutral tenders. So what they did, they invited worldwide whatever best technology for construction of buildings, they are available globally. Some are suited in this USA, some maybe in UK, Brazil, whatever type of, some are the precast construction, some are the monolithic, tunnel form, 3D structures, composite steel structure, whatever type of things, we just provide that this is the building you have to build. And we provide the opportunity to the builder, to the developer, to the designer, to multiple options of think tank. So that they do the technological, analysis and also the financial analysis. They give some important pointers like sustainable development you have to do. The guidelines are there. ECBC guideline is there, and the GRIHA and the ICBC, IGBS, and the GHAR and this LEED guidelines are there. Some parameters are pre-decided. You have to remain within the parameters of final output, and the field is open. So similar type of field now we need that it should get open in this road infrastructure and the rural development, so that whatever best globally is being done, the same opportunity we can extend in our Indian environment. Suppose we want to construct a road, we do not want to restrict our, actual developer that this type of road you have to do. He may be given opportunity, he can develop a concrete road, he can develop bituminous road, he can develop cement-free roads through geopolymer, using the waste material, that type of things. But overall environment sustainability and the cost-benefit ratio, that has to be kept in mind, and best type of technological advances that we can do. And in fact, our country is going much ahead in that. So things are moving in a good direction. So I think.
I'll just add one point on on what you're saying. In 2020, government had released a circular that all infrastructure projects should use stainless steel, which are within some 14, 15 kilometers from the shore. It never got implemented because of some budgetary, budget constraints and all that. In September 2024, they've now made it mandatory for the contract to, when it's uploaded on the GEM, to specify within this zone of the
30 kilometers.
marine zone, compulsory that you should have that added up. Yeah. Of course, the cost is going to go up, but finally the lifetime cost is going to, life cycle cost is going to get optimized.
So many such type of regulations are coming up day by day. Like suppose there is a thermal plant within a radius of 100 kilometers, the byproduct of the thermal plant like flies and all this material is compulsorily to be used in all infrastructure development which are taking place in the nearby locality. So that way the balancing between the product and the output and also the use of sustainable material is being taken up.
Yeah, I think, Agarwalji, that's a very valid point again, because what you talked about, the waste usage of, say, ash, etc. I think one very important portion that we miss out is that with use of these materials, you know, one important parameter which is getting missed out in our entire building material thing is the thermal conductivity. You know, thermal conductivity is a very important parameter which unfortunately has not been discussed when it comes down to buildings, because if we keep growing the air conditioning, the comfort cooling the way we are, you know, there are simple statistics that say that with these 1.5 ton air conditioners which are being used the way they are growing, you know, we will require about 600 gigawatts of power only to run air conditioning. And the point that you brought about of using waste material from power plants, etc., you know, the building material that is made out of that along with steel has a thermal conductivity which is far, far lower. And we could be talking about, you know, maybe 0.5% efficiency increase in an air conditioning system and make big hue and cry. But thermal conductivity can bring down your air conditioning load by as high as 25% in a building. You know, where the maximum carbon footprint goes from the air conditioning part of a building. And building sector, as we know, is one of the biggest contributor to carbon footprint. So that is where I think that's a very valid point that you brought in, that utilizing of that and getting this, you know, lower thermal conductivity material of the wastage. It is using the wastage, plus it is bringing down the thermal conductivity by, you know, bringing down the air conditioning load by up to 25%, which is a huge environment impact.
This is very important point, the thermal conductivity. Now, suppose we want to construct a building, we have to decide the envelope of the building. And the envelope of there are two types of energy consumption during use of building. One is the construction energy, construction time, and thereafter the user's time energy. During construction, the user, they have to consume energy. So the major component of that is the building envelope energy. That is around 40 to 50%. So out of this reduction of energy consumption during construction, this is the thermal conductivity what we are talking about. And it is generally measured in two types, U values and the K values. So U value, we try to minimize it something like 0.2, 0.3. It goes up to around 5. So 5 is the simple glass, and suppose we use the sandwich panels, two layers of sandwich panels and XPS board in between. So we achieve the U value of around 0.2 to 0.3. That is a real, advantage of doing the conductivity analysis. So overall, nowadays, whatever building infrastructure we are creating, we have a guideline of EPI, so Energy Performance Index. So thereafter, through that guideline, we judge that how much energy efficient building we have actually designed. So there are different threshold limits for different type of buildings. We want to construct a residential building. The EPI means the energy, after the building is constructed, the energy consumption per square meter of the building uses per year. That is the EPI. So generally, we find that Indian environment for non-residential building, the threshold limit for EPI is around 100 kilowatt per square meter per year. So that should be the criteria. Within that, we should try to restrict our energy consumption. This will not only reduce the consumption of energy, but also reduce the requirement of overall production of energy. So that way, we have to be sensitive. We can
Thank
do that.
you. Thank you. I think ultimately we should focus this to our topic. That means, see, whatever houses whatever infrastructure that we are making in the rural areas. See, India has got today, as per the latest estimation, 11,500 kilometer as the coastal line. It is now expanded to Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweep, it is all Kutch area, it is all taken. 11,500 kilometer is our coastal line. So if any construction, any rural sector that is present in this coastal line within 14 kilometer of that, we should try to implement stainless steel as the rebar or any structural application we should use. Number one. Number two, any house that is being constructed, we should look into this energy factor. We should also try to make stainless steel as the main structural material also for all the applications. So that is what I think ultimately the point is. So I think I will go for now some questions from the audience. Maybe we can have a couple of questions from the audience.
My name is Rao from Pegasus Consulting. 30 years I have been in the stainless steel industry. So I'd like to touch upon first what Mr. Taneja said about the digesters. Now, there's a huge potential for bio toilets also, and Indian Railways is using it, and I think we should try to explore that for the. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. So the bio toilets, which has been a great success in Indian Railways, and I don't know whether anybody from Railways is here, but I know that ISDA and others have worked. That should also be focused for the rural sector, because there are definite advantages in that. At the moment, the bio toilets are being installed in few cities with corporations and private sector. It's slightly expensive, but I think research can be done on that. The second thing about the building thing which you said, so we have what is called, I'll read out the exact definition, leadership in energy and environmental design, which is LEED, and that is approved by a lot of building councils all over the world. I think India also, a lot of private companies are going with that building thing, and that is focused on sustainability and carbon reduction, and stainless steel is a very, very great part of that. Another thing I would like to address what Sharma ji said about the utensils, which is the most important part in terms of the cookware sector, where you talked about the low nickel steel, and I think Mr. Agarwal will agree with me, Mr. C.P. Agarwal, being from this industry, that वो जो बर्तन ग्रेड है जो पहले पाटा था, अभी उसको हमारे मिल्स ने कमर्शलाइज करके 202 का नाम दे दिया. The entire industry is talking about 202, but the problem is that 202, even though low nickel is now certified by BIS as N1, N2, N3 for utensil grade, but there is 0.05 nickel to 1% nickel, which the market is selling everything as 202, and the end user doesn't know. So that is a problem, and utensils and appliances and a lot of other things like air conditioning equipment and commercial kitchen is all being made out of that for cheaper stainless steel. But that's not the point. You have to see, and rural sector definitely should use more stainless steel within homes. Appliances, dishwashers, washing machine. The dishwasher also reduces a huge amount of carbon footprint, because I have this everyday argument in my house. We've got a Bosch dishwasher, and I tell my wife, use that because it conserves water. So these are certain things which can be addressed, and I think all of us in the industry together can use this. One more point I'd like to add before I close. Along with the biodiversity, Bangalore, I have come across a lot of people who make dry and wet rubbish recycling equipment in stainless steel. And these are not for house usage, but for commercial usage, maybe corporations and all. Each one of those uses about 3 to 5 tons of stainless steel. And I think in India, it is growing in, I think, Gujarat. There are some people in the north and in south. I think these things can help in the rural infrastructure for stainless steel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other comment?
I would just like to add to the questionnaire, the person who spoke just now, he was talking about bio toilets in railways. In fact, in Australia, people tried this for making the entire structure of the railway, because it is one of the materials which absorbs energy, in high-speed trains. So I don't know what is the, applications of that in India or anywhere else. Second thing is, the history of stainless steel is more than 100 years old. and a lot of industries, they are using it. And there are problems in processing. Many times you give a steel, after all, it goes through several fabrication processes. Like, sensitization is a big problem. Even in, automobile industries. Hello? Even in automobile industries, Toyota cars, they use for exhaust stainless steel pipes. And you know that because of sensitization problems, there were crackings. And many people didn't know that what to do about that. So the whole picture is not very clear. I mean, stainless steel can be used anywhere and everywhere. Nuclear area is another one. So many researches are going on, So I think awareness not just about that stainless steel is corrosion resistant, but also related to the fabrication problems. It's forging, it's welding, and so many other issues, when you really use in your practice.
Yeah, thank you. I think that you wanted to.
Sir, you talked about stainless steel use. There is one rider that comes with use of stainless steel, that you have to protect it from normal grades, protect it from iron. Because iron acts like cancer on stainless steel unless it's a L grade, low carbon grade. So that's one. And what you rightly say is this is a peculiar thing in the market. You get stainless steel into grades, and you can be sure that one heat, you'll see the discoloration in the steel. And on the other side, in rural area, there's a competitor to stainless steel, which is aluminum. A lot of rural aluminum. But aluminum, while stainless steel has a 3 kg CO2 footprint, 3 tons per ton, aluminum has 16 tons per ton, because it's very energy intensive production, because you have that electrolysis and all that. So it takes 16. So it's a big difference on the carbon footprint between these two competing materials in the rural area. So what you say is right. It's a matter of education and awareness, and ultimately carbon tax. When they come, they'll find that for the earth, for the mother earth, we are having World Environmental Day. We have to go for carbon light solutions. So that's one of the things that we have to eventually recognize and move on.
Aluminum cookware actually should not be used. We in the stainless steel industry are trying to prevent that, but there is a huge aluminum lobby, pressure cooker utensils. The reason is, when I was working in stainless steel, in Salem Steel Plant, SAIL, and we were supplying to TTK Prestige, one of their senior managers explained to me, which we knew, but he showed me, aluminum cookware actually absorbs bacteria, food from bacteria, because it becomes porous with more usage. So that is a major thing, but because it is cheaper, it is being used. So that is also another thing we should tell people. In my house today, we only have glass, ceramic, stainless steel and cast iron. All other cookware is out of the house. So that I think everybody should do. Thank you.
Especially in the rural area, people are using aluminum quite a lot. So at my home also, before starting my job basically into the stainless steel industry, my wife or my mother was using the aluminum cookers. It 100% got replaced by the stainless steel after getting the education. And they are the brand ambassador now to use the stainless steel in all the home appliances. So basically we are the only brand ambassador, sir, basically for uses of the stainless steel. And not only for the basically sustainability, that is for the health reason also, which you rightly mentioned. Thank you, sir.
Any more points from the audience? Maybe that I will sum it up. Good evening, good afternoon, friends. Yeah, good afternoon, friends. And I think it's a very useful panel where I think first time I hear people discussing about advancing stainless steels for rural infrastructure, which is something we attempted today. And you would have heard that very valuable points have been made by the panelists. Maybe I think with subsequent Stainless Steel Expo, we will have more thoughts that is coming out that how we can apply stainless steel. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, 70% of India's rural sector and 7 lakh villages are there. And then I mentioned also about 3 crore households in the rural areas. So we mostly focus today on infrastructure. What we have not discussed today is, application of stainless steel in water supply, sanitation, renewable energy that will be set up in rural areas, and the healthcare, the healthcare things, setting up mini healthcare centers and hospitals, and building homes, the government schemes, and many other, ways in which we can use stainless steels, not only the mega infrastructure that what we talk about today. Thanks to Mr. Agarwal, CP Agarwal, he, coming from a primary sector, he said stainless steel is a green metal. It is, very important to know that once stainless steel is produced, whatever may be the carbon issue that we, it was raised by other speakers, once it is produced, it's a green metal. The life cycle cost, the life cycle analysis says that nothing like waste once stainless steel is produced. I think that it was also very rightly brought out by the speaker Vivek Taneja that it is not only green metal. If we are going to use hydrogen or any other renewable energy to produce stainless steel, its entire thing is stainless steel right from the production stage onwards. It is going to be green. Okay. So we don't call it something like green metal because it is going to be used for lifetime. It is also produced by hydrogen or renewable energy. Production itself is green. So that is a very important point. And CP Agarwal considered that corrosion is the main issue, whether it is urban or rural. If we are going use it in the infrastructure, corrosion is the main issue. And whatever new development that will happen in rural infrastructure, we must use stainless steel as the material, whether it is just in the form of the structural material, or it is going to be something like whatever way that is stainless steel is going to be used in the rural infrastructure, and it is going to be very beneficial. He also highlighted education and training for the application of stainless steel in the rural infrastructure. And coming to Mr. Praveen Kumar Agarwal, who has a vast experience in the construction of structures, he focused more on the sustainable development and the rural development, linking both. Sustainability is the most important. We should give more weightage for carbon footprint. And he also appreciated that people talk about the cost of stainless steel, but don't understand that it is not the initial cost, the application cost, the life cost. If you overall benefit, if you look at it, is excellent for application in the rural infrastructure. And he advocated that there should be a national policy on stainless steel. This is very important. In fact, I felt that the panel should recommend increased budget allocation for the rural infrastructure under whatever existing schemes by the Government of India, so that the increased cost of application of stainless steel in place of steel should be met with this, cost budget allocation, increased budget allocation. And we should also recommend the promotion of stainless steel in all government-funded projects, not only infrastructure, but also water, sanitation, road, any other project. Government should promote the application of stainless steel. And coming to Mr. Vivek Taneja, he focused on circularity and sustainability, adding the importance of resource utilization and recyclability. And he also felt that biogas should be given a lot of importance. Use of biogas, use of hydrogen in the manufacturing of stainless steel will help us to reduce the carbon footprint. And more stainless steel is used more and more rural economy will increase, and the becoming of the rural sector into urban is possible, and the mobility of people from urban to rural will take place if stainless steel is going to be more used. Thanks to Mr. Sanjay Sharma, he more compared the carbon footprint when we use stainless steel and how that will reduce as compared to the usage of steel and aluminium. And for the environmental benefit, today I think we should switch over to stainless steel from steel to aluminium than any other metal, because the stainless steel itself is 100% recyclable material, and his recommendation that using stainless steel in rural area for reducing the carbon footprint and also to have better, the healthcare, better service application for stainless steel is, beneficial. So thanks to my panelists, Mr. C.P. Agarwal, Praveen Kumar Agarwal, Vivek Taneja and Sanjay Sharma for putting all these points. This section is completely recorded, and I know that organizers are going to make a summary of it, and finally they are going to make some recommendation to the ministry, and I am sure Ministry of Steel we are going to submit a recommendation. And I think one important point that we should mention is that for a resilient rural economy, application of stainless steel not only in infrastructure but in all other sectors is very important, and there should be a policy that should be evolved by the government for the application of stainless steel that is not maintained by the panelists, and that will help India to advance further, not only up to 2047, but even beyond Viksit Bharat. And this is the way stainless steel can grow not only in the urban, but also in the rural sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kamachi. I would also take this opportunity to mention that I have closely been interacting with Dr. Kamachi over the last 2 months, and in fact this whole session topic that we've discussed today, it's very close to his heart. I know he has been doing a lot in this area, and it was a suggestion that came from him. And of course, looking at the discussion points that have been put forward today, I know why he was so insistent that we should do a discussion on rural infrastructure. Initially, it was just part of a larger conversation, but sir, thank you so much for the support and helping us realize how important this topic is. With that, requesting Raghunath to please join me on stage. He is the Director with Virgo Communications and Exhibitions to present the mementos. First to Shri Praveen Kumar Agrawal. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Next, Mr. Vivek Taneja. Thank you, sir. Mr. C.P. Agrawal. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Sanjay Sharma. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Kamachi Mudali, our esteemed advisory board member too, and he needs no introduction. Thank you so much, sir, for all the support that you have been extending to making our initiatives a success. Thank you so much.